In this video, we are going to introduce buffers. A buffer is a solution that resists the change in pH. And this can be very useful in many applications. Whenever you have a system and you don't want the pH of that solution to change, then a buffer is going to be able to do that for you. So for example, in your blood contains buffering chemicals which keep the pH steady, and if the pH of your blood gets too high or too low, then you get very, very sick and possibly die if it gets too bad. So this is how they work. A buffer is a solution that contains significant concentrations of a weak acid and the conjugate base of that weak acid. So we're just going to use some sort of some generic terminology here. So our weak acid is going to be represented as HA. So that's just some molecule represented by A with an H plus that can come off, behaving like an acid. And then the conjugate base of that, according to Bronsted-Lowry, is going to be the same thing except without the proton, without the H plus on it. So the way a buffer works is if you have both of these things present in the solution, then if you have the acid, it can neutralize base that gets added to the solution, and because you have the conjugate base, it can neutralize any acid that's added to the system. So for example, let's say that you have this buffer system with HA and A minus in it, and you have and some acid is added to this buffer system. So the acid contains H plus, and that's what the buffer needs to get rid of. And so it gets rid of it by reacting it with the base that is present, the A minus that is already present. So when you react these two things, you end up with that. So the H plus is no longer free to cause any damage. It's been neutralized. And likewise, when you add base, you're adding hydroxide ions. And the hydroxide ions will react with the acid present in the buffer system. And when they react, you end up with water and the conjugate base. So once again, the hydroxide is no longer free to wander around and cause any damage, so it's been neutralized. Okay, so that's the way a buffer works. You must have, once again, significant quantities, significant concentrations of a weak acid. The weak acid is able to neutralize hydroxide ions that are added to the system, and you must have the conjugate base, and that base is able to neutralize any H plus ions that are added to the system. That's buffers. Thanks for watching.